ओके. सो आता आपण एक इमेज आणि ऑब्जेक्टचा परत एकदा डायग्राम बघतोय. आपण मगाशी वेगवेगळ्या पोझिशन्स ऑफ ऑब्जेक्टवरनं वेगवेगळे पोझिशन्स ऑफ इमेज काढली होती. त्यातलं मी एक सिच्युएशन परत रिपीट केले. आता ह्याच्यातलं सिच्युएशन काय, इफ द ऑब्जेक्ट इज प्लेस्ड ॲट 2F, इमेज कुठे फॉर्म होते, 2Fला फॉर्म होतात. आणि ह्याचे प्रॉपर्टीज काय काय होतं आपण बघितले होते की ते जे इमेज जी फॉर्म होते ती सेम इट विल बी ॲट द सेम हाईट ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्ट. करेक्ट. ती इन्व्हर्टेड असणार आहे म्हणून ती इन्व्हर्टेड इमेज ड्रॉ केली. ती रिअल असणार आहे कारण ती सगळे रेस कॉन्व्हर्ज होतात, त्यामुळे तिचं कॉन्व्हर्जिंग लेन्स, त्यामुळे ती रिअल इमेज त्याच्यातली ती फॉर्म होणार आहे. आपण जेव्हा ते डायग्राम आपण जेव्हा तो काढला होता किंवा तो ड्रॉ केला होता त्यावेळेस आपण फक्त 2 रेस त्यातले घेतले होते. वन रे विच वॉज पॅरलल टू द ॲक्सिस अँड वन रे विच वॉज पासिंग थ्रू द पोल ऑफ दॅट लेन्स. आणि फक्त त्या 2 रेजवरनं आपण त्या इमेजची पोझिशन काढली होती. आपण आपल्या कन्व्हिनियन्सप्रमाणे 2 रेज घेतले होते, पण मी तुम्हाला जसं सांगितलं तसं एखाद्या पॉईंटवरनं इनफायनाईट असंख्य रेज त्यातनं बाहेर पडत असतात. नॉट ओनली इन धिस डायरेक्शन, इन ऑल द डायरेक्शन्समधनं त्या पॉईंटपासनं रेज स्पेरिकली तिथनं त्या पास होत असतात, म्हणजे तिथनं रेडिएट होत असतात या पॉईंटपासनं. सिमिलरली ह्या पॉईंटपासनं ह्या पॉईंट सगळ्या पॉईंटपासनं रेज जनरेट पास होत असतात आणि ते सगळे रेज ह्याच्यावरती पडतात आणि ते सगळे रेज कॉन्व्हर्ज होऊन ते ह्या पॉईंटला मीट होतात. म्हणजे ह्या ऑब्जेक्टच्या पॉईंटचे सगळे रेज जे निघाले आहेत ते ह्या पॉईंटवरती मीट होतील. ऑब्जेक्टच्या सेंटरमधनं सुद्धा जे काय रेज पास होतात, म्हणजे जे काही रेडिएट होतात ते रेडिएट होऊन ते ऑब्जेक्टचं सेंटर जनरेट करतं इकडे. करेक्ट. त्यामुळे ऑल द पॉईंट्स ऑन द ऑब्जेक्ट इज कन्व्हर्जिंग टू मेक ऑल द पॉईंट्स ऑन द इमेज. आणि त्यामुळे आपल्याला तो अख्खा इमेज त्या साईडला आपल्याला तो रिअल इमेज दिसतो. आलं तुमच्या लक्षात. त्यामुळे सगळ्याच पॉईंटवरनं रेज बाहेर पडत असतात आणि ते तिथे कॉन्व्हर्ज होत असतात आणि वेगवेगळे पॉईंट्स करून ते इमेज संबंध इमेज कन्स्ट्रक्ट होतं. ते आपण दाखवताना फक्त एका पॉईंटमधनं दाखवतो, दॅट इज द टॉप ऑफ दॅट इमेज. त्याच्यावरनं आपल्याला संबंध हाईट मिळते. ओके. सेकंड थिंग, जेव्हा हा रे इथनं ह्या लेन्सवरती इन्सिडेंट होतो, आपण नॉर्मली त्या लेन्सच्या अबाव साईडलाच 2 रेज दाखवतो ना, एक पॅरल दाखवतो आणि एक पासिंग थ्रू पोल दाखवतो. ते नेहमी आपले हेच रे असतो आपण दाखवतो, दिस पॅरलल अँड पासिंग थ्रू दिस पोल. बट हा रे काय फक्त वरच्या साईडला पडतो असं नसतं. लेन्सच्या खालच्या बाजूला सुद्धा रे पडत असतात त्या ऑब्जेक्टच्या या पॉईंटवरनं. ओके. आणि हे सगळे रेज अगदी लेन्सच्या वरच्या पॉईंटपासून त्या खालच्या पॉईंटवरती सगळ्या पॉईंटवरनं ते रे पडत असतात. ॲट ऑल पॉईंट्स द रेज आर फॉलिंग ऑन दिस आणि ते कॉन्व्हर्ज होऊन ह्या पॉईंटचा जो ऑब्जेक्ट पॉईंट आहे तो हा पॉईंट क्रिएट करतो इथे ह्या साईडला. ओके. आणि हे सगळे रेज मिळून ह्या पॉईंटची एक इंटेन्सिटी डिसाईड होते. कारण ह्या सबंध इंडिव्हिज्युअल रेला एखादी इंटेन्सिटी आहे ना, ब्राईटनेस, हे सगळ्या रेला लाईटची एक इंटेन्सिटी त्या रेवरती, नंबर ऑफ रेजवरती अवलंबून असते. जी बेसिक लाईटचा आपण एक जो धागा घेतो तो व्हर्च्युअल असतो, ॲक्च्युली असा कुठला धागा नसतो. इट इज वी ॲज्युम दॅट इट इज अ रे ऑफ लाईट, अ स्मॉल रे ऑफ लाईट. तर त्याची इंटेन्सिटी फिक्स असते. पण आपल्याला जो लख्ख प्रकाश जो आपल्याला डोळ्यात दिसतो एखाद्या ब्राईट लाईटवरनं, ह्याचा अर्थ काय होतं, त्या पर्टिक्युलर रेची व्हॅल्यू वाढलेली नसते, पण नंबर ऑफ रेज जास्ती त्यातनं बाहेर पडतात. 1,00,000 रेज पडलं तर इट विल बी ब्राईट, 10,000 रेज पडलं तर इट विल बी डिम, 100 रेज त्या पॉईंटवरनं त्या सोर्समधनं बाहेर पडलं तर इट विल बी मोर डिम. सो हा जो डिमनेस किंवा ब्राईटनेस जो आहे तो त्या रेच्या व्हॅल्यू किंवा त्याच्या पॉवरवरती नसतं, पण नंबर ऑफ रेज त्या लाईटचे जेवढे बाहेर पडतात त्याच्यावरती अवलंबून असतं त्याची जी इंटेन्सिटी. त्याच प्रकारे जेव्हा हे सगळे रेज ह्या लेन्सवरती पडतात तेव्हा ह्या सगळ्या ज्या रेजची एक इंटेन्सिटी असते ती सगळी कॉन्व्हर्ज होऊन हा पॉईंट आपल्याला छान ब्राईट दिसतो. करेक्ट. वेगवेगळ्या पॉईंट्समधून असेच रेज बाहेर पडणार आहेत आणि वेगवेगळे पॉईंट्स कन्स्ट्रक्ट होणार आहेत आणि आपल्याला तो एक ऑब्जेक्ट जी इमेज जी आहे ती एखाद्या आपण पडद्यावरती घेतली तर ती आपल्याला एक पर्टिक्युलर विशिष्ट ब्राईटनेसमध्ये ती आपल्याला दिसू शकते. आता मी जर हा भाग बंद केला आणि इफ आय पुट सम ब्लॅक कलर टू दिस, एक कागद लावला आणि त्याला मी हा ब्लॉक केला, तर काय होईल? इथे इमेज फॉर्म होणार की नाही होणार? आता मी या तुम्हाला समजून सांगितल्यानंतर तुमच्या लक्षात आलं असेल की मी हे रेज ब्लॉक करतो इकडचे, पण खालचे रेज मी ब्लॉक करतोय का? नाही. त्यामुळे खालनं रेज येऊन हा इमेज इथे फॉर्म होणारच आहे, हा पॉईंट इथे जनरेट होणारच आहे. बट फक्त फरक काय असणार आहे? हे रेज त्यातनं मायनस झाल्यामुळे ॲज आय हॅव सेड इंटेन्सिटी इज अबाउट द नंबर ऑफ रेज पासिंग थ्रू अ युनिट एरिया. करेक्ट. सो आता नंबर ऑफ रेज, हे जे वरचे रेज आहेत, वरनं जे येणारे रेज आहेत, हे सगळे ब्लॉक झाले, त्यामुळे इकडनं कुठलंच रे त्याच्यामध्ये येणार नाही आहे. करेक्ट. फक्त जे रेज ह्याच्यावरती पडणार आहेत ते खालच्या भागातनं जे आलेले रेज ते इकडनं येणार आहेत. त्यामुळे ह्याचे काय होणार आहे? मी जर हाफ रेज त्याचे बंद केले त्याची ही इंटेन्सिटी हाफनी कमी होणार आहे. म्हणजे जेवढं मी त्याचे एरियाज ब्लॉक करतो त्याप्रमाणे तेवढे इंटेन्सिटी ऑफ रेज तिथे येणारे कमी होणार आहे. पण जो काही उघडा भाग आहे किंवा जो काही ओपन लेन्सचा पार्ट आहे त्यातनं रेज जाऊन आपापल्या वेनी बरोबर ते त्या पॉईंटला कॉन्व्हर्ज होणार आहेत ते. राईट. ही त्या सरफेसची ती कमाल आहे, त्या कर्वेचरची कमाल आहे. ती कुठल्याही उघड्या भागामध्ये, सपोज मी हा सुद्धा भाग आय पुट सम ब्लॅक पेपर आणि मी ह्याला बंद केला, तर मग काय होणार आहे? हे जे दोन रेज आहेत हे रेजसुद्धा बंद होतील. राईट. हा रे पण बंद होणार आहे. मग ह्या फक्त दोन रेज पास होऊन इथे परत इमेज तशीच त्या साईज विथ द सेम प्रॉपर्टीज तिथे फॉर्म होणार आहे, पण फक्त ती काय होणार आहे? डीम असणार आहे. कारण नंबर ऑफ रेज कमी झाले. आता एवढे सगळे रेज होते, 1000 रेज होते, त्यातले फक्त आपण एक 5 रेज तिथे आपण येऊन दिले, बाकी सगळ्याला आपण ब्लॉक केलं. पण ही जी एरिया जी ओपन होती त्याचा हा कर्वेचर चेंज झाला होता का? नाही. R1 वॉज द सेम, इकडचा R2 वॉज द सेम, बरं रिफ्रॅक्टिव्ह इंडेक्स वॉज द सेम, सो दॅटफॉर फोकल पॉईंट ऑल्सो विल बी द सेम. त्यामुळे ही इमेज काहीही डिस्टर्ब होणार नाही, तशीच्या तशी तिथे ती अवेलेबल होईल. फक्त डिफरन्स विल बी दॅट इट विल बी लेस ब्राईट, एवढाच फक्त फरक असणार आहे. बाकी एव्हरीथिंग विल बी सेम. त्यामुळे एखादा असा प्रॉब्लेम आला होता की जर असे म्हणजे ब्लॅक स्ट्राइप्स जर त्या लेन्सला आपण पेंट केलं तर मग इकडचं ऑब्जेक्ट असं ब्लॅक अँड व्हाईटमध्ये दिसेल का? असं काही नाही आहे. ओके. सो जिथे जिथे ज्याला गॅप मिळेल त्या गॅपमध्ये जाऊन बरोबर रेस तिथेच कन्व्हर्ज होणार. फक्त तेवढं जी एरिया ब्लॉक झाल्यामुळे तेवढे रेस तिथे कमी पोचतील, त्यामुळे त्याची इंटेन्सिटी त्या ऑब्जेक्टच्या इमेजची ती जरा कमी लख्ख दिसेल. सो ब्राईटनेस विल बी रिड्यूस पण इमेज विल बी सेम ॲज इट इज. इज इट क्लिअर? फाईन. ओके. आता आपण प्रॉब्लेम्स आणि त्याच्या इक्वेशन्सकडे आपण वळतोय. आपण ते जे इक्वेशन्स बघितले त्या इक्वेशनमध्ये अजून एक इम्पॉर्टंट पॅरामीटर असतो लेन्सचा, दॅट इज कॉल्ड ॲज द पॉवर ऑफ अ लेन्स. आता पॉवर ऑफ अ लेन्स इज गिवन ॲज P इज रेसिप्रोकल ऑफ फोकल लेंथ. आता ह्याच्यामध्ये थोडीशी आपल्याला काळजी घ्यायची समजण्यामध्ये. द पॉवर त्याचं युनिट दिलेलं असतं कॅपिटल D और डायोप्टर्स. डायोप्टर इज द युनिट फॉर द पॉवर ऑफ अ लेन्स. ही लेन्स किती पॉवरफुल आहे, म्हणजे ह्याच्यात किती मॅग्निफिकेशन होऊ शकतं, दॅट इज गिवन बाय द व्हॅल्यू आणि दॅट इज द इन्व्हर्स ऑफ फोकल लेंथ. करेक्ट. इट इज नॉट डिफिकल्ट. पण ह्याच्यामध्ये एक तुम्हाला फक्त लक्षात ठेवायचं आहे की दिस फोकल लेंथ शुड बी, द युनिट शुड बी इन मीटर्स, मगच त्याला आपण डायोप्टर म्हणू शकतो. व्हेरॅज नॉर्मली आपल्याला जो फोकल लेंथ जो मिळतो तो दॅट इज इन सेंटीमीटर असतं. नॉर्मली आपलं फोकल लेंथ जे आपण काढतो दॅट इज इन सेंटीमीटर. बट व्हेरॅज इफ आय एम टॉकिंग इन टर्म्स ऑफ डायोप्टर इट इज दॅट F शुड बी इन टर्म्स ऑफ मीटर. म्हणजे फॉर एक्झाम्पल हे नीट लक्ष घ्या, आपल्याला एखाद्याची फोकल पॉईंट 25 सेंटीमीटर जर आपल्याला जर मिळाली, फोकल लेंथ ऑफ अ लेन्स 25 सेंटीमीटर जर आली तर, आणि त्यांनी असं विचारलं व्हॉट इज द पॉवर ऑफ दिस लेन्स. आता पॉवर ऑफ द लेन्स म्हणजे 1/25 आपण लिहू, पण 1/25 लिहून नाही चालणार, कारण बिकॉज दॅन इट विल नॉट बी इन डायोप्टर्स. दॅट 25 शुड बी फर्स्ट कन्वर्टेड इन टू मीटर्स. मग 25ला मीटर्समध्ये कन्वर्ट कसं करणार? सो इक्वल टू 25 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter. Now the power will be 1 upon 25 into 10 raised to minus 2. This focal length should be in meters. आलं लक्षात तुमच्या? मगच this power can be given in terms of diopter. आता 10 raised to minus 2 ला मी वरती नेलं तर काय होणार? It will become 10 raised to plus 2 upon 25, which will become 100 upon 25. So the answer it will be 4 diopter. आलं लक्षात? ज्या लेन्सचे फोकल लेंथ 25 सेंटीमीटर आहे त्याची पॉवर इज गोइंग टू बी 4 डायोप्टर. दिस इटसेल्फ इज बीन प्रॉब्लेम टू कन्वर्ट फोकल लेंथ इंटू डायोप्टर्स. इन द सेम वे तुम्हाला जर पॉवर ऑफ लेन्स दिलेली आहे ॲज समथिंग सम व्हॅल्यू ॲज 6 डायोप्टर 7 डायोप्टर राईट, त्याच्यापासून तुम्हाला हे गणित तुम्हाला उलटं फिरवायचं आहे बाय विच यू कॅन गेट द फोकल लेंथ इन सेंटीमीटर्स आणि देन यू कॅन यूज दॅट इन आवर इक्वेशन्स. कारण आपल्या इक्वेशन्समध्ये आपण पॉवरच्या टर्ममध्ये आपले इक्वेशन्स नाही आहेत, आपले सगळे इक्वेशन फोकल लेंथच्या टर्म्समध्ये आहेत. त्यामुळे जर एखाद्या लेन्सची जर पॉवर दिली असेल तर ती आपल्याला ह्या मेथडनी, हे जे मी लिहिलेले स्टेप्स आहेत हे नीट लिहून घ्या. थ्रू धिस स्टेप्स यू शुड बी एबल टू कन्वर्ट इट बॅक इन टू द फोकल लेंथ इन सेंटीमीटर्स अँड देन यू कॅन कंटिन्यू विथ द प्रॉब्लेम ॲज पर द ऑब्जेक्ट इमेज जे काही दिलं असेल ते तुम्ही ते कंप्लीट करू शकता. ओके, सो दिस वॉज दॅट definition about the power of a lens. Okay, now we have to see an equation which is a combination of lenses. In the last session we had seen about objects and image where only one lens was considered. Now when we are going to have a combination of lenses, we have to follow two different methods. Okay, first method is when the lenses are thin and they are in direct contact with each other. They are called as lenses in contact with each other. It means there is no space between those two lenses. Okay, so if I consider one lens, and normally these lenses are considered to be thin lenses. So suppose if I have lens L1 and L2 which are in contact with each other, right? Now they have a power P1 and a power P2. Okay, they are in contact with each other, so effectively they will create a new lens that is an equivalent lens. Okay, and it will have a third power P. So we have to find out what is the equivalent power if two lenses are in contact with each other. They are not separated by a distance, they are in contact with each other. The equation is very simple. The effective power or the equivalent power of both the lenses will be the addition of both the powers. So P1 plus P2 will be the power of that equivalent lens, and the object and the image will be followed using the equivalent power. There could be a problem where they would give you the focal length of this. You know, from the focal length you can find out the power, and from the power the equivalent will be P is equal to P1 plus P2. This can also be written as 1 upon F equal to 1 upon F1 plus 1 upon F2. Is that clear? So this is F is your equivalent focal length of the combination of these two lenses will give you an equivalent focal length. Okay, now we have a second equation, that is if the lenses are separated by a distance. Mind you, they are separated by a distance, suppose d. Then the equation given is P is equal to P1 plus P2, as we have mentioned over here, minus P1 P2 into the distance of separation. So this is the equation of the equivalent power that will be obtained by having two lenses in contact with each other. So it will give me an equivalent power. In terms of focal length, I can write it as F equivalent is equal to 1 upon F1 plus 1 upon F2 minus 1 upon F1 F2 into D. So this would be this would come as into 100. If you find the equivalent of this, one of this will get 100 of this will get cancelled by these terms and 100 will remain. So this will be the equation in terms of focal length. Remember, this 100 is there to adjust the units of focal length. Is that clear? So this is the equation that you have to use when you are going to find the equivalent focal length of lenses in contact with each other. This is also one of a very important equation, and problems do come based on this thin lenses in contact. Remember, these are thin lenses in contact. When they are thin lenses in contact or thin lenses separated by a distance, if the lens is fat and has a conspicuous curvature, then these equations will not work. So normally when they expect you to use this equation, they will always mention in the problem that three thin lenses are in contact with each other. Is that clear? So this is your equation related to thin lenses, and this is one method how you can solve to get the equivalent focal length or the equivalent power of lenses which are in this particular combination. Okay, now we are going to see different lenses in contact we had seen. Now we would see the combination of lenses and mirrors in contact with each other. Okay, so in this last topic we saw when lenses are in contact with each other, what would be the equivalent focal length. Now we are going to consider variety of lenses. Variety of lenses, I mean one lens and one mirror, when they are in contact with each other, how do they behave? So in this particular arrangement, you can have a lens which is a convex lens and it is mirrored on one side. Means you are getting me. So it is like a mirror connected to that, or this surface, that solution is applied by which now it acts like a mirror. So the curved surface is mirrored. Okay, so this is one combination of mirror and a lens. Now there could be another lens which is a plano-convex lens. One side is plane and the curved surface is mirrored. Correct? Next could be a lens in a plano-convex. One side is plane, one side is mirrored. This side, and in this particular case, the plane side is mirrored. So this is your mirrored side. This is your mirrored side. Similarly, you can have even a concave lens with one side mirror, plano-concave lens with one side mirror. Right now, we will just take these three typical examples and to find the equivalent focal length of each arrangements. One side mirror means you understand now. This is like a concave mirror, this is a concave mirror, and this is a plane mirror, right? Now here there is one basic important aspect that you have to understand, that for this particular object, if I keep an object over here, ultimately it is going to get reflected by this mirror and it is expected to have the image on this side. If I keep an object here in front of this, keeping an object at the back of the mirror doesn't make any sense. So it has to be kept in the front of this so that the rays will get reflected and come back. Similarly, in this case, the object should be in front of this lens so that it will pass through the lens, get reflected and come back. Is this clear? So here we are considering this as a combination of lens L1 and L2. This is L1 and this is L2. This is L1 and this is L2. So it is the two objects, one is a lens and mirror. They are fused together. You can call that as fusion also, or it is normally called in our problems, and it is referred to as silvering on that side. Silvering on the curved side means silvering on curved side. Silvering on the flat side means silvering on this particular side. Now here I am going to make use of the standard equation of focal length, the equivalent focal length is what? The focal length equation which I used in the last session, that is 1 upon F equivalent is equal to 1 upon F1 plus 1 upon F2, right? This equation we had seen, that is the equivalent length of lenses in contact with each other. They are not separated by any distance. For that the equation was different. So in this particular case, let us look at this case first. In this particular case, the object, the ray passes through that lens, gets reflected, again repasses through the lens, and then it goes to form an image wherever that image is going to be formed. So it is considered that this ray passes through three lenses. Lens 1, that is the lens. Next, it falls on the mirror, that is the second. Third, it again passes through that lens. So that is the third media that it is passing through. So it will be an equivalent focal length of three devices. This particular lens will be repeated twice. So here I will write down 1 upon F equivalent is equal to 1 upon F1. F1 is the focal length of this lens and F2 is the focal length of the mirror. So it will be 1 upon F2 plus again 1 upon F1. 1 upon F2 or 1 upon F1, or this can be given as the equivalent power is equal to P1 plus P2 plus P1 or 2P1 plus P2. That will be the equivalent power of the combination of this. It is considered to be as 3. As you understand, it will pass through the lens, get reflected and again pass through the lens. Therefore, we are going to take 3. Actually, objects are only 2, but through the lens it is passing twice. So therefore, the 3 elements will come in the equivalent lens. Now, power of a lens is equal to 1 upon focal length, whereas power of a mirror is equal to minus 1 upon focal length of this mirror. This is one thing which you have to understand and write down. Okay. Now let us calculate the focal length of, so this equation when I put into this, I will get 1 upon F equivalent equal to, now these two are lenses, so 2 upon FL plus it is going to be, sorry, it is about mirror, no, F2 is of mirror, so instead of, it is minus 1 upon FL, so it will be 1 upon F of mirror, or in this case we have taken it as F2 and this was F1. So this is how we are going to find the equivalent focal length of this system. We are not finished over here, we have yet to write down the equation. Now what is the focal length of this lens F1? Now you know 1 upon F1 is how much for this length? 1 upon F1 is equal to mu minus 1. Now 1 upon R1. Now in this case, what is R1? R1 is a flat surface and plane surface means R1 is going to be infinite. So this is going to be infinite minus 1 upon R2. Now this is R2. Where is the radius? On which side? On the left hand side. So the radius has to be taken as negative. So this is going to be minus R2. Correct? So my equation is going to be 1 upon F1 equal to mu minus 1 upon R2. So this I am going to substitute over here. So this is going to be 2 into mu minus 1 upon R minus 1 upon F2. Now what is F2? F2 is the focal length of this concave mirror. F2 is the focal length of a concave mirror. And what is the focal length of a concave mirror? It is twice the radius, and this is on this focal length is on the left hand side. So it is going to be minus R by 2. So focal length F2 is minus R by 2. So this is going to give me 2 mu minus 1 upon R plus 2 upon R. Are you clear about this, what we are getting? So this, if you take this 2 upon R as common, you will have mu minus 1 plus 1 So the equation becomes 2 mu upon r. So this is the equation of a lens which is silvered or mirrored on one side. So this becomes your effective focal length, that is will be given as 1 upon f equivalent, or f equivalent will be equal to r upon 2 mu. F will be equal to r upon 2 mu. Okay, this is the focal length of a equivalent focal length of this system. Now let us try to find the equivalent focal length of this situation. Here again I am going to use the same equation. 1 upon equivalent is equal to 1 upon f1 is the focal length of this lens, and f2 is the focal length of this mirror. So 1 upon f2 plus 1 upon f1, or 2 upon f1 plus 1 upon f2. Now in this case, let us find out the focal length of the lens. It will be 1 upon f1. It has got now 2 radius. Let us assume that both the radius are same, r and r. We will not increase the complications here by giving as r1 and r2. Let us both the surfaces have the same radius r. So in this case, using the lens maker's equation, 1 upon f1 will be equal to mu minus 1 upon r. 1 r, this is r1, so this is going to be positive because it is on this side, and this r is on this side. So it will be minus 1 upon minus r, which will give me, so this minus minus will become plus, and this will become mu minus 1 upon r into 2. So this will be my 1 upon f1. I will rewrite it, mu minus 1 into 2 upon r. This will be the focal length of your lens. And what will be the focal length of this mirror? So f2 for this is going to be, since already it is on what you call minus side, so this radius is on this minus sign, but you remember here for the lens I have to take it as minus 1 upon fl. So it is going to be minus of so f2 is going to be minus r, and 1 upon f2 will be equal to minus of minus r. Please note what I am doing over here, that the power of mirror is minus 1 upon fl. Power of lens is just 1 upon fl, and fl will be in terms of meter, right? So 1 upon f2 minus fr, so this will become plus r. Please note this step, which is very important, how this minus has come. This r we have already taken as minus because the radius, the center of this radius falls on the left hand side. That is why first we have taken this as minus, and plus because we are using it as a power to be added into this, we are again making it minus because this is the rule that we have to follow. Okay, now if I add this, we will have 1 upon f equivalent will be equal to 2 into 1 upon f1, means what? It will be 2 into, I have to substitute this 1 upon f1, that is mu minus 1 into 2 upon r plus 1 upon f2. 1 upon f2, f2 is what? R, so it will be plus 1 upon r. Is this clear? Sorry, f2 is r by 2, no? We take it as r by 2, so it will be 2 over here, 2 upon r. So this will be your equivalent focal length of, you can take this as 2 upon r common, so 2 into mu minus 1 plus 2, so that will be 2 upon r into 2 mu minus 2 plus 2 will get cancelled, so it will be 4 mu upon r. So this will be the equivalent focal length of a convex lens mirrored on one side. So similarly for this, again I will use the same thing. 1 upon f equivalent equal to, this would be f1 and this will be f2. So 1 upon f1 plus 1 upon f2 plus again 1 upon f1. It is passing through f1 twice. But what is the focal length of a mirror? Focal length of a mirror is 0. Focal length of a plane mirror is 0 because focal length is r by 2 and r of a plane straight line radius of a straight line is always infinite. So my f2, that is the focal length, will be 0. So it will be just 2 upon f1. f1 we have already calculated for a plano-convex lens, which is equal to mu minus 1 upon r into 2. So this will be your equivalent focal length of a mirror lens which is mirrored on one side, right? Note this down, this equation. These are not a part of your board syllabus, but this is a part very much for your CET mains and your NIT, because this type of problems will be asked for your MCQs, asking the MCQs for this extra exam. So we are going to see one more arrangement of convex lens, and this arrangement is popularly known as conjugate foci. What is this conjugate foci? Here you can see this is the same lens, only it is shifted to a different position. A same lens which is shifted to a different position. That is why this lens is shown dotted and this is shown in a solid. So for you to understand that this is the same lens that is shifted at this position. So here we have a position 1 of this lens and this is a position 2 of that lens. Now when an object is placed at this point A and when this is at position P1, u is the distance of the object from the pole or the position P1. This forms an image, as you can see, at this particular point, that is B. So at B an image is formed. Let me show this image now in this particular height. This is the height of the image that is formed at B. Now what I do, if I start moving this lens away from this, what am I doing? I am increasing u. So for an increased value of u, I will be getting a different value of v. The position of the image will also change. The focal length of the lens is same. But when I take this lens away from the object, this distance u will start increasing and therefore this v will also keep on changing. Now there is one situation of this lens where the image will again be formed at the same position, maybe of a different height. The original image was maybe at this particular height. Let us say this height of this image is I1 and height of this image is I2. So when the lens was at this position, the image was formed at point B, but the height of the image was I1. If this lens is shifted at one particular point, there will be only one position. There will be one position where the image will be formed at the same position. Okay, same position means it does not mean same V. Look here, as I am taking this lens away from here, my u is changing. Now this is my new u, u1. At this position, this is my new u1 and this is my new v1. Are you getting me? So, but the image is formed, what I wanted to say is that the image is formed at the same distance. So I can say if A and B, suppose the distance between the object and the image is d. The distance between the object and the image is suppose distance d. So by changing the position of the lens to P2, this distance d does not change. The image is formed at the same point. I have not shifted the object. Okay, so the distance d remains same for both the positions of this lens, and this will happen only for two positions of lens. For a given focal length of a lens, such a situation will be achieved or it will be realized only for two positions of the lens, and these two positions are called as conjugate foci. This situation is called as a conjugate foci. The use of this equation of conjugate foci we are going to do when we are going to do the advanced part of ray optics, that is interference of light. That time we will understand the importance and how the scientists and the physicists had made use of this conjugate foci to measure certain heights of object. Okay, so here as you can see in this particular part, one thing has remained same in these two situations. As I've said, this distance d, that has remained same. Second interesting thing what you should observe in this, the u which was there in the first position and v which was there in the first position has now been interchanged. The value of u1 will be equal to v and value of v1 will be equal to u. Are you getting? The values have got interchanged. This will happen when this lens will take the position, that is distance of the image becomes the distance of the object, and the image naturally will be the distance of this, because u plus v equal to d has to remain constant, right? So the positions of u and v are getting changed in this conjugate foci. Is that clear? So let us see this equation. As you know, this swapping of u and v takes place as the position of the lens is changed. So let us derive this equation. We know that 1 upon f is equal to 1 upon v minus 1 upon u. This is our standard relation. We also know magnification is equal to I upon O, which is equal to v upon u. So in the position 1, when it is in your position 1, what do we have? We have, this is u. Let us take for to overcome the confusion of u and v, let us take u equal to x and y equal to, and v equal to y. Now using this in this m, so m is equal to I upon O. So we have not changing the height and image, so I and O is going to be I upon O, that is, let us take this as I1 upon O, that is height of object, that will be the magnification. Okay. Now m is also known as v upon u. So here we are substituting v as equal to y, so v will become y and u will become minus x. U will become minus x. This magnification, this is an inverted, so this also magnification is going to become minus I1 upon O. Try to understand this. I1 is the height of image is minus I1 upon O. So equating these two, what do we get? Minus I1 upon O is equal to minus y upon x. Is that clear? From this, let us eliminate y. So this minus minus will become plus and y will become I1 into x upon O. Y will become I1 into x upon O. Now let us substitute this equation in this focal length, that 1 upon f is equal to 1 upon v. V is what? Y. Since it is on the right hand side, it is going to be plus, minus 1 upon u is how much? X, which I am going to write it as minus x. So which is giving me an equation 1 upon y plus 1 upon x. So 1 upon f. Now we will substitute the value of y in this, which will be 0 O upon height of object upon height of image 1 into x plus 1 upon x will give me 1 upon x I1 plus 1. Is that clear? So let us write this as equation number 1. Now let us see the condition of P2. In P2, what is happened? In position P2, we have now u which is equal to y. This distance y is taken by u. And what is v? V is equal to x. So using the same equation of m is equal to still minus I2 now upon O. Height of object remains the same. Image has become now I2 for the second position of the lens. So if this is I2 which is equal to V upon U, V equal to X and U equal to minus Y. So again this gives an equation I2 upon O equal to X upon Y. Eliminating Y, we will take this as Y equal to X upon O into I2. So this will be my second equation for M. Now let us have the equation of 1 upon F for this. So 1 upon F is equal to 1 upon V minus 1 upon U. Now what is V? V is X, which is going to be plus X, minus U is what? Y, which is going to be minus Y because it is on the left hand side. U is on the left hand side. So it will be minus Y, giving you equation 1 upon X plus 1 upon Y. Now I will substitute this Y in this equation, which will give me 1 upon X plus Y is equal to X upon this. So it will be O into I2 upon X. Is that clear? This Y has been substituted in this equation, which will give me 1 upon X 1 plus O into I2, which is equal to 1 upon F. This will be my third equation. This will be my third equation. Are you able to see this? I think I should write it. I will write it over here. So this is going to be 1 upon F will be equal to 1 upon X plus 1 upon Y, which is 1 upon X. Now this Y I am going to substitute over here. So it will be O into I2 upon X. Right? This will be my equation number 3. Is that clear? How we have got this? Now, since equation number 3 and for this position, what did we have? 1 upon F was equal to this equation. Number 1 and 3 are the equations of 1 upon F and 1 upon F. The length is the same. So the focal length is same in both the cases. So I can equate 1 equal to 3. So if I equate 1 equal to 3, what am I getting? I'll just write down over here. That is 1 upon X raised to O upon I1 plus 1 will be equal to this. I can simplify as 1 upon X into 1 plus O I2 upon 1. So this is going to become 1 upon X 1 plus O into I2. Okay. So from here you will come to know that 1 upon X gets cancelled. This, so it is O upon I1 plus 1 is equal to 1 plus O I2. 1 minus 1 gets cancelled. So you have, sorry, it is just a minute, we have I1 O upon I1 should be equal to, sorry, this is I2, I1, I2. This is I2 upon O in this position. I'm very sorry, I2 upon O. Yeah, I'm very sorry, this is one small mistake I had done over here. So this is I2 upon O is equal to X upon Y. So Y is going to be, O will be over here. I'm very sorry, it is X into O upon I2, right? So it is I2, O will be over here, not in the numerator. So it is I2 upon O, fine. So this is I2 upon O. So this should be seen as I2 upon O. So when your 1 and 1 gets cancelled, what do we get? O square equal to I1 I2 and O is equal to under root of I1 I2. This is an equation which you will be using for all problems of conjugate foci, in which O is the height of object. What is O? O is your height of object. This is O, and I1 and I2 are the two heights of images formed by keeping the lengths at these two conjugate foci. Is that clear? So this is your equation, a proof for this, where O is equal to under root of I1 and I2. Okay.